January.
Guess what, gang? It's the start of the year once again, and reliably as ever, it's horrible out there. But there's always a silver lining to winter, isn't there? You can guilt-free stay inside and play a bunch of board games. And this winter, I have been playing back-to-back-to-back games of what I think might be the best cozy game ever? Railroad Tiles. Now, if I know Shut Up and Sit Down fans, then you're probably clicking off of this video already, because the games that people want to see, the games that get metaphorical bums in metaphorical seats, they're the big, hefty boxes that fill a table, that create a particularly gaudy thumbnail, the kinds of monolithic titles that scare your friends and family away from board games. But look, in between those swollen, brain-filling titles made of spite and arithmetic, you gotta have your toast and Marmite. You gotta have versatile games that you can pop on the table to play with anyone at any time. Something that's snappy and breezy and straightforward and fun, and Railroad Tiles might be my new favorite in that category. So Railroad Tiles is kind of a sibling game to 2018's Railroad Inc., but it trades in its pens for tiles and its dice for also tiles, because it's a tile placement game. And over the course of the game, you're going to build out your own personal network of road and rail that oozes across your table like a particularly neurotic spillage. Each turn is wicked simple. You're just going to use your worker to lay claim to one of these caches of tiles, with whoever picked the most meager offering going first next round, the second meagerest going second, and the unmeagerest going last. And with these tiles, you will begin to assemble your tarmac vision. A little bend here, a junction there, a station for your railroad, ooh, and a weird dangling bit of road, and a loop that goes nowhere, and whatever this horrible thing is, oh hell. These tiles aren't going to play nicely. They lull you into a false sense of security though, because initially they click together beautifully, but soon you're creating these cruel tangles, leaving gaps that need highly specific pieces to fill them. Oh look! Your initially pristine highway now forks in two directions and hurtles cars into the void, only bested by this unbelievably pathetic stretch of railroad. Now all this mess is obviously super unsightly, but it is also an actual problem, because almost every loose end is going to cost you a negative point at the end of the game. Okay, so you lose points by making a big old mess, but how do you get them? Well, you've got two main routes, and the first is to just make a massive rectangle. You'll score your greatest square area at 1 point per tile, giving a significant boost to a densely packed clump of car. And your second big scorers are cities. Each group containing 3 of these tiles infected with buildings will net you a whopping 5 points. And this process is as smooth and satisfying as slipping your dogs into your favorite pair of socks. You'll Suro-esque link these routes together, finding perfect pieces for perfect slots, capping off ends and everything clicking together with a satisfying snap. But this whole rodeo is rumbled by Railroad Tiles' major addition to the formula. See, in its dry erase skin, Railroad Inc. left the population of your network to your mind's eye. But in Railroad Tiles, every car and train has been lovingly rendered in bit of wood form. Train, car, and a new addition to the lineup, a guy. In each round of the game, everyone is going to get a chance to place a couple of these into the network in front of them. And each successive piece of the same type on one route will net you an escalating point bonus. 1 for the first, 2 for the second, all the way up to a whopping 5 points for the 5th and beyond. But placing out these pieces requires a pinpoint of the same kind to be present on the network, and ideally in the same route as your other pieces of the same kind to really rack up those points. This round it's train fever, but I've only got space for a single guy on my network. I guess I'm getting Jack. Now this might seem like a pretty unassuming little nugget of mechanic, but it actually seeps outwards into railroad tiles in all sorts of interesting ways. Because it's entirely possible to almost ignore this mechanic entirely, just treating these little cars and trains as a dusting of extra points on top of making your big square and your cities. But trying to squeeze this for all it's worth, it reveals this game's full hand. This round, we're placing cars and trains, making tiles with those symbols more worth fighting for in the market. But those tiles aren't necessarily going to play nicely with your perfectly rounded layout. You're trying to make a large, neat packet, but you're also trying to include particular tiles in order to score pinpoints. But getting those tiles means you need to have priority in turn order, and having priority in turn order means you're taking fewer tiles, and taking fewer tiles means it's harder to make a nice, neat packet. It's this wobbly circle of decisions that keeps the game chugging along at this perfect level of challenge. And it's doubly perfect for this kind of game because none of this is ever punitively annoying or destructive, because all of this is yours. Railroad Inc.'s expansions, at their worst, plonked these irritating features into your grid to swerve around. But the player-driven, free-flowing nature of tiles means that this network is exactly as annoying as you made it. Its difficulty scales directly with greed. And that is our game. I could continue to offer the obvious reasons why it's really great. It's fast to play, it's hitting a sweet spot on crunch, it's not just killing time, it's got time on its knees, hands tied behind its back, barrel to the temple, and blam! Grey matter all over the shag pile. Take that time, heal that wound. Now naturally, of course, there are a few very minor gripes. The two-player mode is governed by flipping this flaccid little token, an act with all the heft and satisfaction of misplacing a tissue or looking at grouting. Personally, I'd also have loved to see some tiny storage trays that go in the box to deploy this game to your table just a hair faster, because its existing insert game is utterly pathetic. Oh, and these player colours? This somewhat muted selection seems to be built for a new kind of colourblindness that hasn't been invented yet, except for this hot orange, which among these dullards looks like it's overdressed for Oliver Bonas' funeral. And I wrote that line based on the memory of what these look like. In person, they're actually completely fine. Look, these are thuddingly minor quibbles. This game is an absolute delight, and there's something joyous, wonderful, train set-esque about building out your little route one tile at a time. And many times, this stops being a jumble of systems and leans into a fundamental jigsaw-y. You trace each road, peppered with cars. You connect your petrol station to your big city. Your passenger hitches a ride and your train pulls into the station. There are many moments in every game of Railroad Tiles where it stops being a set of rules to navigate, systems to conquer, points to accrue, and instead becomes a place. Acropolis, Cascadia, Calico, even Railroad Inc. These are games in which the landscape of what you're building is pleasing, but abstract, fading away with each passing game as you lock in on making that number bigger. Now, after dozens of games of Railroad Tiles, I've obviously begun to care more about scoring big and winning the game. But there is still some incalculable magic to the combination of action and theme here that means I still care equally about building a thing, creating a place, imagining it running along smoothly long after the players leave the table, and then sweeping it all back into the box. I feel as though we often give cozy games short shrift. I'm forever tempted to just chuck them into top 5 lists because subconsciously I feel like they're less exciting or less worthy of a full video. What usually sparks a review from Shut Up and Sit Down is an explosive play of a game, a single session that creates big feelings, drama, narrative. The kind of game that's dazzling and immediate and sets us on a quest to dissect how it done did that. And Railroad Tiles isn't that. It's not trying to be that. Instead, this is a game that you are always up for a play of. It fits in any slot that you give it, and you have a dependably lovely time so often that you start quietly daydreaming about snapping those tiles together. It sort of creeps up on you until you realise that you've played it 20 times in 2 weeks and you still want more. Railroad Tiles is a perfect bit of design. thoroughly deserving of its own glowing video review slot. Shut Up and Sit Down absolutely recommends this wonderful little box. And you know what? We might also recommend this phenomenally large box as well. You see, Railroad Tiles is a game that's already got a whole bunch of expansions, which are collated into this cavernous collector's edition. Just look at it next to a standard reference paria. And if you'd like to see me talk more about them, then there is a separate bonus video where I definitively rank every single one. Kind of. That video will be going out with the next newsletter, which you can get access to by supporting the site via our website or our Patreon. But if you're just looking for the short version, then I'll give you an early scoop. The expansions inside of this box are far more consistent and excellent than Railroad Inc.'s expansions, which were a bumpy road. I don't think you can really go wrong with any of them. Just pay attention to how crunchy they say they are on the box, because broadly, it's pretty accurate. And some of them make this game into a real brain burner, and some of them just add a little bit of extra fun flavor, a bit of theme, a bit of zhuzh to your games of Railroad Tiles. If you ask me to pick a couple of favorites, then I'd probably choose the Lake expansion and the Monument expansion. The former is very chill, very relaxing, basically makes a big wet station in the middle of your board, and it's cute. And the Monuments expansion adds some interesting puzzles of getting this archaeologist to wander around your board and go and find monuments. It's really cute. It's all very cute. And that is Railroad Tiles. Thank you so much for watching. I'll see you again very soon. Bye.